while you're able, for soon it will be too late. And now, Spreaker Web Radio presents The Liberal Grouch with Blood on the Microphone.
Oh my... Jim, get in here for a minute.
Yeah, honey, what's the problem?
Look at this bathroom floor. It's covered in pee.
Maybe it was the dog.
We don't have a dog, Jim. It's just you and me, and you know it wasn't me, so that sort of narrows down the suspect roster, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I just don't know what the problem is. I just can't seem to get a good stream of urine from me to the bowl.
The problem is you're not concentrating. You're not focused. Here, try this.
What's that?
That's the WJJ urinal target.
I've heard of those, but aren't they just for urinals?
Don't be silly. You can put this right on the back of the toilet and use him to calibrate your urine stream.
That's right. Thanks to the scientists at the Liberal Grouch, we've developed this foolproof technique to help you calibrate your urine stream. With a WJJ urinal target, you'll stop peeing all over the floor and make your wife a happy woman.
Gee, look at that, honey. Right between the eyes.
Good job, Jim. Now if we could just come up with some way to get you to remember to put the seat back down.
It works in toilets, too.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
The Liberal Grouch knows. The Liberal Grouch, Bill Schmalfeld, a man of meager means, a student of science, and a master of other people's minds, devotes his life to righting wrongs, solving crimes, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Using advanced methods that may ultimately become available to all law enforcement agencies, Schmalfeld is known to the evil Breitbart Empire as the Liberal Grouch. Never seen, only heard, a seemingly supernatural nemesis as haunting to the superstitious mind of a right-winger moron as a ghost, as inevitable as a guilty conscience. The Liberal Grouch has vowed that only death will end his quest for social justice. And when that day happens, and his voice is silenced, it will surely be as the result of blood on the microphone.
Now, that's not to say the blood on the microphone will kill me, but the killing of me would leave the blood on the microphone. I just wanted to be perfectly clear on that. I'm Bill Schmalfeld. Welcome to our show today, April 1st, 2015. We're not going to do any April Fool's jokes or anything like that, but I apologize for there not being a show yesterday. I was involved in something that took pretty much the whole afternoon, and by the time I got home, I just didn't feel like it. That's the nice thing about doing shows like this and you're not getting paid. Yeah, just sometimes you don't feel like it. And earlier today, I'm sitting here thinking about one of my favorite books, George Orwell's 1984. And I'm thinking about that in context with the next election. And I'm wondering how long it's going to be until this country descends either into a plutocracy or an oligarchy. I certainly do not support any of the Republican candidates, and I'm not finding much enthusiasm inside myself for Hillary Clinton either. So it seems to me what we need here is an actual progressive to run against an actual conservative to see which way this country wants to go. But in the meantime, we're more concerned with the trivial matters, the things that do not apply to our daily lives, but they're sure as hell entertaining. And I just see a day in the not too distant future where the oligarchs and the plutocrats see their opening and take it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your future. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the United Corporate States of America. Strong and prosperous, bursting with wealth, keeping our vast sums of cash for ourselves, and the workers will ceaselessly strive to keep their sad dreams of enrichment alive. Dress in Gucci, they dress in rags, still they all rise when they see the flags.
You are listening to the only radio station in America, the voice of a unified people working hand in hand to make our nation the shining city on the hill it was always meant to be. You are listening to VOUCSA, the voice of the United Corporate States of America. The news will follow after this brief interlude of patriotic music.
the left-wingers, they try to make the people scared. They tell us all that it's time to get prepared for the end of the world, for the floods and the heat. You can see them all the time with their signs out in the street. Whenever there's a storm, they try to convert a new believer into thinking that the planet has got a fever. They say polar bears are all gonna die 'cause we're releasing too much carbon dioxide. But take a deep breath and take a long pause. Remember, they're just liberals and they love to join a cause. You're sure to hear their cheering and their applause every single time they pass more green laws that make life more difficult for those of us who work for a living. But global warming is a lie. The polar bears ain't gonna die. The planet isn't getting any hotter. And New York City will never be underwater. And even if it's underwater someday, and you hear, "See, I told you so," coming from all of those liberal voices, it'll be due to natural causes, not mankind's irresponsible choices. So drive your car and don't recycle. And don't worry about the polar bears or the elephants or the pandas. And most of all, don't pay any attention to liberal propaganda. fence on the U.S.-Mexico border. A really big fence so we can get this whole problem in order. We need a big, big fence charged with jolts of electricity to keep people in their own country. I'm not saying we should close the doors of our nation. I approve of legal immigration, but I'd never sneak into a foreign country without filling out the appropriate paperwork. And all the liberals out there want to make it look like I am some kind of jerk for saying that it's not our responsibility to accommodate people who break into the land of the free. I appreciate the fact that these aliens have a lot of problems, but allowing them to break into our country isn't gonna solve them.
You're listening to the voice of the United Corporate States of America. It's a dystopian nightmare, not quite 1984 with its Big Brother and telescreen, but what will likely be the case after the oligarchy and plutocrats eventually take over this country after the next couple election cycles or so. Welcome to your future.
And now, this update from the Central Newsroom of the VOUCSA, the voice of the United Corporate States of America. The Board of Directors, meeting today in Reaganton, D.C., voted to continue the restructured corporate bylaws, the Articles of Confederation of the United Corporate States of America, in effect until the next vote in 2035. The bylaws, which replace the outdated Constitution and Bill of Rights, have proven themselves to be guidelines by which all people of the UCSA can hope for prosperity, by witnessing the example of the 1% of Americans who have already attained that level of individual success. The chairman of the board congratulated the directors on yet another year of individual prosperity, and promised once again that the good times being experienced by the top 1% of earners in our confederation will eventually be enjoyed by all corporate Americans as the wealth trickles down to them in the form of moderately higher wages, a slight increase in paid sick leave, and fewer executions for anti-corporate activities. On that subject, the board agreed to a contract with food processor Spormel to repurpose the byproducts of executed anti-corporate agitators into a tasty new creation they will label with the brand name Insurgent Loaf. The chairman of the board chuckled as he applied the corporate stamp to the contract, saying, "It's about time these people served some greater purpose." Spormel's press office announced that the repurposed human byproducts will also be sold as tubular, quote, meat products, unquote, suitable for sandwiches to be fed to the growing number of criminals incarcerated in corporate prisons. And now, on VOUCSA, we continue with Story Time. Gather your kiddies around your radio, and instruct them under penalty of punishment to listen to this chapter from Ayn Rand's epic novel about individual achievement, Anthem.
Chapter 1. Anthem. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Caden Von Clegg. Anthem by Ayn Rand. Chapter 1. It is a sin to write this. It is a sin to think words no others think and to put them down upon a paper no others are to see. It is base and evil. It is as if we were speaking alone to no ears but our own, and we know well that there is no transgression blacker than to do or think alone. We have broken the laws. The laws say that men may not write unless the Council of Vocations bid them so. May we be forgiven. But this is not the only sin upon us. We have committed a greater crime, and for this crime there is no name. What punishment awaits us if it be discovered we know not. For no such crime has come in the memory of men, and there are no laws to provide for it. It is dark here. The flame of the candle stands still in the air. Nothing moves in this tunnel save our hand on the paper. We are alone here under the earth. It is a fearful word, alone. The laws say that none among men may be alone, ever and at any time. For this is the great transgression and the root of all evil, but we have broken many laws. And now there is nothing here save our one body, and it is strange to see only 2 legs stretched on the ground, and on the wall before us the shadow of our one head. The walls are cracked, and water runs upon them in thin threads, without sound, black and glistening as blood. We stole the candle from the larder of the home of the street sweepers. We shall be sentenced to 10 years in the Palace of Corrective Detention if it be discovered. But this matters not. It matters only that the light is precious, and we should not waste it to write, when we need it for that work which is our crime. Nothing matters save the work, our secret, our evil, our precious work. Still, we must also write, for, may the Council have mercy on us, we wish to speak for once to no ears but our own. Our name is Equality 7-2521, as it is written on the iron bracelet which all men wear on their left wrists with their names upon it. We are 21 years old, we are 6 feet tall, and this is a burden, for there are not many men who are 6 feet tall. Ever have the teachers and the leaders pointed to us and frowned and said, "There is evil in your bones, Equality 7-2521, for your body has grown beyond the bodies of your brothers." But we cannot change our bones nor our body. We were born with a curse. It has always driven us to thoughts which are forbidden. It has always given us wishes which men may not wish. We know that we are evil, but there is no will in us and no power to resist it. This is our wonder and our secret fear, that we know and do not resist. We strive to be like all our brother men, for all men must be alike. Over the portals of the Palace of the World Council there are words cut in the marble, which we repeat to ourselves whenever we are tempted. We are one in all and all in one. There are no men but only the great We, one, indivisible, and forever. We repeat this to ourselves, but it helps us not. These words were cut long ago. There is green mold in the grooves of the letters and yellow streaks on the marble, which come from more years than men could count. And these words are the truth, for they are written on the Palace of the World Council, and the World Council is the body of all truth. Thus has it been ever since the Great Rebirth, and farther back than that no memory can reach. But we must never speak of the times before the Great Rebirth, else we are sentenced to 3 years in the Palace of Corrective Detention. It is only the old ones who whisper about it in the evenings in the home of the useless. They whisper many strange things, of the towers which rose to the sky in those unmentionable times, and of the wagons which moved without horses, and of the lights which burned without flame. But those times were evil, and those times passed away, when men saw the great truth, which is this, that all men are one, and that there is no will save the will of all men together. All men are good and wise. It is only we, Equality 7-2521, we alone who were born with a curse, for we are not like our brothers, and as we look back upon our life, we see that it has ever been thus, and that it has brought us step by step to our last, supreme transgression, our crime of crimes, hidden here under the ground. We remember the home of the infants, where we lived till we were 5 years old, together with all the children of the city who had been born in the same year. The sleeping halls there were white and clean, and bare of all things save 100 beds. We were just like all our brothers then, save for the one transgression. We fought with our brothers. There are few offenses blacker than to fight with our brothers, at any age and for any cause whatsoever. The council of the home told us so, and of all the children that year, we were locked in a cellar most often. When we were 5 years old, we were sent to the home of the students, where there are 10 wards for our 10 years of learning. Men must learn till they reach their 15th year. Then they go to work. In the home of the students, we arose when the big bell rang in the tower, and we went to our beds when it rang again. Before we removed our garments, we stood in the great sleeping hall, and we raised our right arms, and we said all together with the 3 teachers at the head, "We are nothing. Mankind is all. By the grace of our brothers are we allowed our lives. We exist through, by, and for our brothers, who are the state. Amen." Then we slept. The sleeping halls were white and clean and bare of all things save 100 beds. We, Equality 7-2521, were not happy in those years in the home of the students. It was not that the learning was too hard for us, it was that the learning was too easy. This is a great sin, to be born with a head which is too quick. It is not good to be different from our brothers, but it is evil to be superior to them. The teachers told us so, and they frowned when they looked upon us. So we fought against this curse. We tried to forget our lessons, but we always remembered. We tried not to understand what the teachers taught, but we always understood it before the teachers had spoken. We looked upon Union 5-3992, who were a pale boy with only half a brain, and we tried to say and do as they did that we might be like them, like Union 5-3992, but somehow the teachers knew that we were not, and we were lashed more often than all the other children. The teachers were just, for they had been appointed by the councils, and the councils are the voice of all justice, for they are the voice of all men. And if sometimes, in the secret darkness of our heart, we regret that which befell us on our 15th birthday, we know that it was through our own guilt. We had broken a law, for we had not paid heed to the words of our teachers. The teachers had said to us all, "Dare not choose in your minds the work you would like to do when you leave the home of the students. You shall do that which the Council of Vocations shall prescribe for you, for the Council of Vocations knows in its great wisdom where you are needed by your brother men, better than you can know it in your unworthy little minds. And if you are not needed by your brother men, there is no reason for you to burden the earth with your bodies." We knew this well in the years of our childhood, but our curse broke our will. We were guilty, and we confess it here. We were guilty of the great transgression of preference. We preferred some work and some lessons to others. We did not listen well to the history of all the councils elected since the great rebirth. But we loved the science of things. We wished to know. We wished to know about all the things which make the earth around us. We asked so many questions that the teachers forbade it. We think that there are mysteries in the sky and under the water and in the plants which grow, but the Council of Scholars has said that there are no mysteries, and the Council of Scholars knows all things. And we learned much from our teachers. We learned that the earth is flat and that the sun revolves around it, which causes the day and the night. We learned the names of all the winds which blow over the seas and push the sails of our great ships. We learned how to bleed men to cure them of all ills.
That's
we loved the science of things, and in the darkness, in the secret hour when we...
Heavens to Betsy, what ham-handed nonsense! I wish Ayn Ryan, or Ein, or however she pronounced her first name, I wish she was still alive so I could tell her to her face that she creates straw men and then knocks them down. And dull-minded conservatives who are quick to self-victimize see her as their hero. Yes, she understands the wickedness of the liberal. She knows that if you're taller than the others, you're evil because you excel in height. If you're smarter than the others, then you're evil because you excel in education and intelligence. It's the hammer that sticks up that gets nailed down, after all. I should say it's the nail that sticks up that gets hammered down. But you know what I mean. Such ham-fisted, artless hoo-ha! And believe me, I know my hoo-ha.
If you enjoy the witty comedy bits on this show, even the naughty stuff that professional moron Eric P. Johnson of Paris, Tennessee calls illegal, you can have your own copies of these choice bits of progressive funny stuff by logging onto Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you purchase CDs or digital downloads online. Do a search for our host's last name, spelled SCHMALFELDT, and you will find a wealth of material recorded over the years for your amusement, and to insult the pinheads who support the harassing lawfare of WJJ Hogue III. Don't wait until after someone carries out their threats to murder Bill. The prices will be certain to skyrocket. Go to your favorite online place for ordering CDs or digital downloads. Search for SCHMALFELDT. Blow the cobwebs off of that credit card and show the right-wing dickheads that they are not the boss of you. Thank you. Hey, you. If you use Google Play, you have no excuse not to fill Bill's pocket with lawsuit money. Several of Bill's alleged comedy albums are available at Google Play. Do a search under music for SCHMALFELDT and warm up that credit card. Be on the right side of the left with the comedy, as some would call it, of Bill Schmalfeld. Now, let's all point and laugh at the fat, funny. You like audiobooks, don't you? Of course you do. It's all the pleasure of reading, without the time-consuming strain and hassle of holding a book. And, eye strain, carpal tunnel syndrome, who needs that? This is why audiobooks have become so popular. Your genial host of this program, Bill Schmalfeld, has audiobooks you can purchase. Put on your parky face. Read by the author is the telling of Bill's experience with Parkinson's disease. I Killed Osama and That Hussein Fella Too is a rollicking comedy fiction about a disgraced truck driver and his penchant for telling tall tales. The Miracle Boys of Slowpoke, Iowa is about two special brothers who don't know how special they really were. Baby's First Book of Socialist Propaganda is a tongue-in-cheek storybook for progressive children. These books are brought to life by the considerable vocal talents of professional voice actors, David Winograd and Robert Armin. You can find these books on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and on audible.com. And coming very soon, a play Bill wrote with his late twin brother has been brought to life as a radio play. Be watching for news about end times, a comedy into acts. Coming soon. Audiobooks. No trees were killed in the production of these titles.
Oh, yeah. This is Blood on the Microphone. You're listening to the only radio station in America. And we've just shared a brief sample of what a dystopian nightmare of a corporate America would be like. And I do believe we are heading toward that kind of oligarchy, that sort of plutocracy, just the exact opposite of what Ayn Rand predicts, where the word I, in the pronoun sense, has been eliminated, has been made illegal. We must refer to ourselves as we, because the individual is worthless, and the one who is smarter than the others, he's unequal, and therefore blah, 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 blah. Oh, God. And there's people who think she's an intellectual. If anybody actually believed that way, oh, I'm sorry, you're just too smart. You'll have to be killed. That was Nazi Germany, which was about as far right-wing as you can get, kids. We're heading toward a right-wing dictatorship. I do believe that. I do believe the oligarchy approaches if my dreams don't come true. So now, for the next, I guess, hour or so, a little special treat, if I may call it that. In its entirety, my... Do I call this a rock? No, it's a comedy opera. It's a comedy opera called 2016, A Race Odyssey. And it begins now.
Well, hi there. I'm glad you came by this recording. Yes, sir. A lot of folks wonder what happened in that year of 2016. So long ago, but so fresh in our memories. Yes, sir. Of course, what happened in 2016 didn't really start in 2016. It probably started back in 2009 when the first African-American president, Barack Hussein Obama, became president, and the Republicans in Congress did everything they could to keep him from getting any serious legislation passed. And then in November 2014, they finally achieved their goal. They had a Republican control of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and spent that whole next 2 years with one failed vote after another, trying to get enough votes to impeach President Obama. Oh yeah, they got rid of Obamacare. Hell, they did that right away. President wouldn't sign the bill, so they overrode his veto. And that was the beginning of the end. Well, that moves us up now to 2016. Obama, he's a lame duck now, and he's not really thinking that much about his future. He's, planning retirement, I guess, and already the Democratic field seems pretty well set, while the Republicans are in a state of disarray, trying to decide who would be the best candidate for them. But like I said, the Democrats had a pretty good idea of who they were going to nominate. So, why don't you just sit back there for a little while and have a sip of something while I relate the story of 2016, A Race Odyssey.
Hello there, Haley. Nice to see you again.
You too, Bill. How long's it been?
Oh, I think it was about back when the grandbaby was born.
What you been doing since then, baby?
Oh, baby, you do not want to know the answer to that
Well,
one.
you know you're going to have to watch your step for the next 8 years.
Oh, I know. Back to the White House, back to the White House, back to the White House. Won't it be great?
Back to the White House, back to the White House, back to the White House. You'll be first mate. No fucking around, don't act like a clown. No more with the bimbos, promise me that.
A quick little glance, it won't take the chance. It stays in my pants, I promise you that. Back to the White House, back to the White House, back to the White House. For 8 more years, we're back to the White House, back to the White House, back to the White House. Bangers and tears. Oh, you are inevitable, baby.
That's what you said back in 07.
Yeah, but this time there ain't no smooth-talking black fellers sneaking up on you.
You take care of O'Malley?
Oh, yeah, he's been taken care of.
I still don't see what an East Coast liberal like O'Malley can add balance.
Fuck balance, baby. You're Hillary Clinton, not Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
We're back to the White House, back to the White House, back to the White House. Election day, there won't be no drama. You the big mama, ain't no Obama getting your way. I'll govern with class, no ceiling of glass. That big rod of mass in my office chair. I'll restore our fame by staking my claim. Executive dame, you're practically there.
You know, I wouldn't want to hurt Barack's feelings, but when I was Secretary of State, I practically was the president, so it's not like I won't know what I'm doing when I get there.
Oh, and that beside the point, baby. You had the best mentor in the presidency you could ever have, of yours truly. Boy, I miss that Oval Office.
You miss that little alcove in the Oval Office back by the kitchen there. That's what you miss. God, I can't believe I didn't shoot you right between the eyes back then.
Well, that would have shot your chances to hell now, wouldn't it? Think about it. Being in jail for assassinating the president. That's a pretty rough beef right there, baby.
Well, you can thank your daughter Chelsea that you're alive, because, believe me, I was tempted. I was very tempted.
Tell me about temptation, but it won't really matter, and you know why. I'll be in the White House, be in the White House. You'll be the first spouse, I will be next. Just keep your big mouth shut, practice your golf putt. Don't say a thing but party line text. I'll be a good boy, your pride and your joy. I won't say a thing to fuck up your run. I'm happy to hear you'll keep yourself clear of scandal. Remember, I got a gun. Yes, I have a gun, and it ain't for fun. Remember Vince Foster, good old Vince Foster. Think of Vince Foster if you should stray. I won't let a horn dog be a career clog in this campaign slog. Hear what I say, don't act like a turd, and don't say a word unless that you've heard I've said it's okay. I'll be like a mouse, I'm not the same louse, and back to the White House where we will stay. Hey, when your second term expires, how old will Chelsea be?
2024? That should be 44.
Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
16 more years of Clinton's in the White House.
Oh, sweet.
That's what I always loved about you, Bill. You think ahead like a politician. Now, get out of here. I got work to do.
Well, that's all right. I got a date tonight anyway.
You son of a bitch.
Just kidding, baby. Just kidding. Lay that pistol down, baby.
Yep. It's like I said. everybody had a pretty good idea who the Democratic nominee was going to be. Bernie Sanders, an independent socialist, thought about throwing his hat in, but at best he was going to be a third-party candidate, and he knew it. Elizabeth Warren, she was attractive at first to the really far left of the Democratic Party, but it became pretty clear she was too far left for the country's current mood. Martin O'Malley, governor of Maryland, well, former governor anyway, he made a run for it, lasted one primary, he came in third in Iowa. I don't remember who came in second, somebody I never heard of. But it was set. It was going to be Hillary Clinton. Republicans, well, they weren't near as set. Matter of fact, even old Mitt Romney was thinking about throwing his hat back in the ring.
We are in need of a businessman to set priorities straight. I should have beaten that John McCain way back in 2008. I'll run again, I wish you wouldn't, I'll run again, and this time I will win, because the last 8 years of Obama's rule have caused a terrible fix. The debt is higher than it's been since 1926. I'll run again, the debt is low as it's been in decades. I'll run again, with you right there by my side. No more of these foreign-sounding names, this time they'll choose old Mitt, just like they would have the last time if the media weren't poop. I'll win the primaries when I am nominated, then I'll show them there is no way that you can keep a Mormon down. Oh yes, my love, you should have won, on that we both agree. But don't you see what this campaigning has done so far to me? I'm under stress, I have MS, my hair is falling out, and golly, don't you remember that you said you wouldn't run? But now this time it seems the nation's calling me. I have to run again because Elohim would never let me live it down after we're dead. When you and I are ruling our planet, I really don't think that Elohim wants your wife to lose her hair and life just for your ego. I think Elohim has a better plan for us than blowing on the cash on a campaign. You really think so? Oh, yes, I do. Yes, dear, it's true. That's so. Tell me, where is your trust? Back in the bus. Thought so. I'm the bishop here. Let me make that clear. I'm the one who makes decisions. Shit. I think the country really needs a businessman to clear up all this Wall Street tangle. I really think the country wants a businessman, and that will be my campaign angle. So just forget me. I am your wife in every life. I know. And if you run again, this is the end. No. We are bound for life, Mormon man and wife. If you leave, you get no planet. Shit! So do you think I ought to run for president? Third time is the charm, they tell me. Why, yes, my love, I think you should be president. And even if the campaign kills me, great!
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta say about old Mitt Romney. He was persistent. But he wasn't the only person given the Republican nomination serious consideration. There's this nutcase down in Texas who's been a senator for 4 years by that point. Yep, went by the name of Ted Cruz, and nobody outside of the real far right wing wanted him to run, but he was bound and determined. His own campaign manager tried to talk him out of it, in fact.
Listen, Ted, I'm your chief of staff, and I don't even know what my name is, so that's as far as I can go with this exposition. But don't you think you're pushing things by running for president this early?
I recall a certain fellow got elected to the Senate first time, and 4 years later, he was president of the United States of America. A lad from Illinois, was he, with a weird, foreign-sounding name.
Yeah, but you ain't Barack Obama.
Obama? I was talking about Abraham Lincoln.
But Lincoln lost the 1858 election, and that was before senators were chosen by popular vote. Their state legislators appointed them, and even though Lincoln got more votes, they sent Stephen Douglas.
I ain't talking about the part Eddie Arnold played on Green Acres. I'm talking about the first Republican president of the United States, and the greatest one, despite that emancipation thing. And I will be next.
But I just think that...
I don't know what you're worried about. Take a pill and chill out. It will be a fucking rout for good old boy Ted Cruz. Jesus told me I should run, and you know, he's God's son. He said I'm the chosen one. No way that I can lose. No one in the GOP stands a chance next to me. Sober up and you will see I ain't no fake. To the White House I will glide on a wet slip and slide, and with Jesus by my side, big piece of cake. Romney, kiss my Christian ass. Perry ain't got no class. Jeb will probably take a pass. His last name still is Bush. Walker, who the hell is he? Rubio, can't you see? Dumbass Cuban boy is he. That's something I can push. Let me clarify that last statement there. In the past, Daddy split from Cuba fast, 'cause Castro was a red. I was born in Calgary, Canada, so you see, Cuban don't apply to me. That's what my pappy said. I became American, that way now I can run, and it will be lots of fun, and I will win. It'll be a piece of cake. Hillary's back, I will break, and you should make no mistake, that would be sin. Hillary is a commie witch, socialist lefty bitch. I will whoop her with a switch, leave welts there on her ass. I will cook her fascist goose, look out, Ted's on the loose. I will spank her fat caboose and serve it under glass. This'll be a piece of cake, piece of cake, piece of cake. This'll be a piece of cake, 'cause Jesus told me so. Romney's just a Mormon fool, Jindal is Satan's tool. Christie can sit there and drool, Pecker he can blow. Rand Paul don't mean shit to me, neither does Huckabee. Ryan reeks of therapy, he oughta know. This'll be a piece of cake, piece of cake, piece of cake, sitting there for me to take on with the show. Line him up, I'll mow him down, I ain't no Cuban clown, and my skin ain't quite as brown as Marco Rubio. If Rand Paul accepts his fate, he could be running mate, or else he can sit and wait till 2032. What's that? How's that? I will win 2 terms and that'll last for 16 years. I goofed. You're spoofed. I know that a president can only serve 8 years. Bullshit. Bullshit. Fuck it.
Well, it was about that time when Ted Cruz threw his hat in the ring that most of the sensible people decided that they didn't want any part of the nomination if it meant crawling in and mud wrestling with Ted Cruz. So, well, one by one they began to fall by the wayside. Each of them had a good reason for not running, of course.
I will never be the president, that is one fact that I'm fairly certain of. Not because I'm wrong on immigrants, moderate, civilized, mama's favorite son. I will never be the president, write that down, carved in stone, in your memory push. Just because my name's Bush. Remember how popular my dad was when he won that first Gulf War? His popularity went through the floor because he raised taxes when he said he would never raise taxes, but he did because it was the right thing to do. And then my developmentally disabled brother George W. leapfrogged ahead of me and pretty well screwed up politics for the rest of my family for the next few decades by starting a war we had no business fighting against an enemy that was no threat to us. Remember that? I sure do. I was governor of Florida, did a good job, I'm told, with that I agree. I would make a decent president, not a nutcase or some wingnut extremist. But I'll never be the president, take that right to the bank in a locker push. Just because my name is Bush. Chris, you're smart, but you're fat. That's what they all said, Chris. You're tough, but you're fat. And soon you'll be dead, Chris. Get a clue. Lose a fat. The people told me, sure. What the hell? This is easy done as said, right, Chris? It's a sin. You're so fat. The pundits all said, Chris, you can't win. You're too fat. The headlines all read, Chris, you don't have to be fat. Go see your doctor, see if he will do stomach staple surgery. I let the sawbone staple my gut and lost some weight. I bought new suits that would fit my new butt and started planning for 16. I put a huge padlock on my fridge. I lost some weight. I lost more weight. And then those morons shut down the bridge. My shrinking waist had gone to waste. I lost the weight. Yeah, I lost the weight. Thought it was my fate to be the party centrist nominee. I lost the weight. Boy, I lost the weight. But what fucking good did it do me? I'm looking great at my current weight. Toting far less freight in my caboose. My pants are loosey-goosey, screw all that. Back when I was fat, no one had the balls to abuse me. So now I'm slim, I'm fit and trim. I'm at the gym, lift weights and swim. But now I'm grim, my future dark and dim, because some knucklehead shut down a bridge. With all I lost, what did I gain? For what did I endure the pain? So dimwits could close down a traffic lane and tie up traffic for days on the bridge. I'm finished.
Anyway, for a while there, it looked like Ted Cruz might have clear sailing to the nomination, which, of course, that made Hillary Clinton pretty happy, but Mitt Romney was still in there swinging, and swinging, and swinging, and swinging.
I take a firm position and I stand like this, but I don't disregard the shifting sand like this. When someone carves his talking points in stone like Chris, it makes it hard to reinvent yourself and makes it seem like you've been taken out of context in sound bites like this. You cannot win debates when someone fights like this. It's certainly clear as can be. You cannot pin a man down when he's slippery and oily as can be like this. The Book of Mormon says it's right to lie like this. It's okay to prevaricate when telling lies to win a prize that glorifies and signifies the glory of the Lord the way I do, like this. The other guys will see that when they're through, like this. You must admit that they will quit when they all realize that they've been shown to be unfit to tie my shoes, like this.
Well, Dad, I gotta say it certainly sounds like you got your stuff together this time.
What do you mean this time? I had it together last time, too.
Yeah, I just don't think that 47% thing helped you any.
Well, I didn't realize that there was a camera in the room, and besides, if the people can't handle a simple truth, how are they going to handle 8 years of me as president, huh?
Well, you raise a good point there, Pop.
I'll win the nomination if I run like this. and then I'll lead the nation when I've won. Like this, old Hillary will have to see she doesn't stand a chance because the voters want a leader who can lead like this.
Well, as days went on, Mitt Romney was still in there pitching, but no one was hitting him. Mitt finally just kind of drifted off into obscurity. He looks good over there. So I kind of left it up to Ted Cruz. It looked like he was going to win the nomination. Until one day he filmed a campaign commercial. You ain't going to believe what happened.
Ted Cruz for president, gun safety, this is take 23. Action.
Hi, this here's Ted Cruz. And if you don't know me by now, you're never gonna know me at all. That's just a little joke. But anyway, I'm here to talk about gun safety. You know, the gun grabbers, they can't hardly wait until Hillary gets elected so they can come to your house and take all your guns. Well, I'm here to tell you that if anybody tries to lay their hands on my gun, I'll blow a hole through them that the wind will blow through. You ever hear a wind blowing through a hole before? Oh, sorry. That was a chili I had for lunch. Anyway, you gotta just be careful with a gun. You know, you don't wave it around willy-nilly like this Colt 45 I got in my hand here. Make sure that whatever you're pointing that thing at is something that you are willing to kill. Don't fuss around with it. It ain't no toy. Don't ever point it to your head like I'm doing now, because you never know when the sumbitch is gonna... Ooh, that was loud. Hey, that looks like the top of my head laying on the ground over there. And whose brain is that?
Cut.
Meanwhile, about the same time all this was going on, the 44th President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, sat in the Oval Office staring at his desktop. He knew his time was coming to a close and felt sad about everything he had hoped to change. But because of Republican stonewalling, it would be all left undone. He'd have to hope that Hillary could pick up where he left off, but he had no false illusions about her devotion to actual liberal causes. Knew her to be a Wall Street Democrat. But still, there's hope.
I'm gonna miss this place. Girls grew up here. I hoped for change. I must have been insane, 'cause I can't do it by myself. My hoped for change, it soon went up in flames. My legacy on the shelf. I thought that I could be the guy to set us free. Still, I must have been crazy to think the right would not fight just to keep the right to their privilege white. I gave it my best shot. I hoped for change, and you may think it's strange. I thought I could fight the system and win. I hoped for change. I just could not arrange and now my hope's wearing thin. I fought the GOP and turned around to see that no one had my backside. They left me to hang and twist in the wind. My liberal base, my base, how they quickly deserted, and then they turned against me. And I fought like hell. My numbers fell and fell. I hoped for change. I thought that I could bring it. I tried, but then nothing changed. My hoped for change, no one can rearrange. This tangle. My dream of hope and change. Still I hope for change. Yeah. Say that again. Oh shit. When will this be? Do we have a contingency for this? I mean, I thought we had a contingency for this. I see. Well, gather the national security team and we'll meet in the situation room in a half hour. This is a hell of a thing to tell me, kid, but thank you. And thank you for your service. Well, it's not the change I hoped for. This is Anderson Cooper, along with my typical New Year's Eve co-host, Kathy Griffin. Kathy, how is it that you ended up being chosen by CNN for convention coverage?
Well, I think it was because they knew this was going to be a pretty boring affair, and they were hoping maybe I'd take my shirt off or something like that.
I see. Well, the delegates have decided to forego the traditional roll call vote, and it looks like they're going to just appoint Hillary Clinton by acclamation. Let's go to the floor.
Anderson, do you?
Well, there was no challenge to her once she took Martin O'Malley on as her running mate. Oh, look, they're going to continue. Why, yes, it appears to be the Supreme Pontiff of the Holy Roman Catholic Church, the Pope. This is unprecedented in the history of American politics. He's taking the ring off of his finger, and with some difficulty, he's shoving it onto Hillary Clinton's finger. I guess this signifies that the Christian Catholic establishment is supporting Hillary Clinton.
Well, I guess if I'm going to take my shirt off, I better do it now before they start singing again. Oh,
a done deal, Kathy. Hillary Clinton is the official nominee. Oh, Kathy, put those away. So the Democrats put the crown on Hillary Clinton, and Bill stood in the wings watching and waiting. The Republicans weren't quite as filled with jubilation as the Democrats were when the delegates went filing into the convention center there in Cleveland that summer. Air to Reagan, air to Reagan. All we want is an air to Reagan. All we have here is just a losing choice. No one to speak with, just a single voice. Where's our Gipper? Bring back the Gipper. Who can be that heir to Reagan? Heir to Reagan. Heir to Yep, it was a bunch of sad critters, all right. Well, they went through about 10, I think 15 maybe, ballots, and couldn't find anybody to get a majority. And then, as will sometimes happen, somebody you weren't even thinking of come crawling out of the woodwork. A clear superior nominee is someone like Rand Paul, a libertarian option who would satisfy us all. He'll keep us out of the foreign wars and build a border wall. He'll be our president. What a president. I support Rand Paul. He understands the government, can see to every need. He'll do away with the Fed and legalize our favorite weed. To all America's enemies, he'll never bow and plead. We'll mind our business and stick to business. Rand Paul that we need. I place in the nomination our Rand Paul, a man who can't ignore his nation's call. He understands that our founders made way clear what they meant. They saw no need for central government. A son of Kentucky, please vote for Rand Paul. He has the slightest charming southern drawl. He'll reinstate the gold standard, shut down Capitol Hill. As President, Rand Paul will do our will. Let's choose Rand Paul and send him on his way to landslide victory on Election Day. No more U.S. intrusion, no more Fed confusion, no more foreign fights. He don't care if you're black or white. He'll let the local folks decide their fates. He knows this nation is United States. There's no pot prohibition, all on one condition. You gotta vote for Rand Paul. But what about God? In favor of God. Jesus Christ too. Likes Jesus too. Really support prayer in school. If that's what the states want. And what about gays? The states will pray. And what about strays? It's up to the states. It sounds like you're saying the states will have the power. Right. Who needs a central government? Who wants a central government? He'll do away with those who say it's from your pockets. We should pay for roads and bridges. People aren't not fools. He'll shut down federal funding for the schools. In public, there'll be prayer. Won't fleece the taxpayer. Clean your food and water. Do it local like you oughter. If you want to breathe polluted air, well, that's your choice. We really could not care. He'll stay out of your business with God as my witness. You really should vote for Rand Paul.
But what about guns?
He loves him some guns.
And our civil rights.
That's up to the whites.
Because after all,
we are still a majority.
So slavery's cool.
If that's your state's rule,
if we segregate,
that's up to your state.
It's not DC's job to
legislate morality.
He's starting to sound just like a president, a great American president. We'll back Ron Paul up to the wall and heed his call. So come on all and get in line and nominate Rand Paul,
a man who heard and answered heaven's call. He knows our blessed nation's in need of salvation. He will not negotiate with those who would deny each state the right to make and live by their own rules, to plan and legislate what's taught in schools. It's Rand Paul that we favor. He's our nation's savior. Everyone in favor say aye. Aye!
And so, with the 2016 conventions out of the way, the campaigning began in earnest. And Hillary found herself to be not quite as inevitable as she thought she was. For one thing, people liked the idea that Rand Paul was putting out there about government getting entirely out of their lives. You see, when a man is promising you the moon and telling you don't gotta pay for it, you gotta be a really, really smart person to say no to that. America wasn't really blessed with a ton of smart people back in them days. So, it came down to the final week before the election, and the last time that Rand Paul and Hillary Clinton took the stage together. It was their third and final debate. Something unfortunate happened. Decided the election.
You have called me a socialist. Well, I must say that is quite a twist. You have called me a commie witch, using a word that rhymes with witch. You have called me a troglodyte. That's a low, dirty way to fight. But I suppose that is all you saw, living there with Bill up in Arkansas. Well, I have been called so many names, and I refuse to play petty games. But I must say, sir, with just one glance, it's quite apparent that you wet your pants.
I wet my pants.
You wet your pants. I can't believe it that you wet your pants.
I wet my pants.
I wet my pants. On live TV, I just soaked my pants.
He wet his pants.
I wet my pants. Like a big baby, he wet his pants. He should have chosen darker threads. You can see the stain as it spreads.
He wet his pants.
He soaked his pants. You can't but notice with one small glance. I think the message that Rand Paul sends is don't do TV without the pens.
He wet his pants. He wet his pants.
And you were winning till you wet your pants.
He wet my pants.
He wet his pants. And it's all over now. You've wet your pants.
Oh, shit!
Well, my friends, there's a lot of slip-ups and faux pas that a candidate can survive. Mispronouncing somebody's name or tripping on the steps walking to the podium, that kind of thing, you but pissing your pants on live TV and then blubbering about it like a baby, that ain't something the American voter is likely to overlook. So when election day came, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion who was gonna run off with it. And she did.
Baby, I always knew you were gonna win, but you won every state.
Yep.
You got all the electoral votes.
Every one of them.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, he peed his pants on television. What
Yeah,
you gonna do?
even I couldn't have pulled that one off and got reelected.
Back in the White House, back in the White House, back in the White House, this time for good. Back in the White House, back in the White House, back in the White House, just like we should.
A Democrat House, the Senate is too.
We'll pass our agenda, every state blue.
You shattered the glass, you whoop Rand Paul's ass.
That pants-wetting moron singing the blues. Back in the White House, back in the White House, back in the White House, and they'll all see we're back in the White House, back in the White House, back in the White House.
Look, the TV.
Almost probably just more.
This is CNN breaking news.
This is Wolf Blitzer. We interrupt our election night coverage to report this, literally earth-shattering news. According to scientists from the Palomar Observatory, the Earth is moments away from a collision with an asteroid about 1/3 the size of the moon. Scientists predict the asteroid will strike the Pacific Ocean just south of Hawaii in a matter of moments. Wait just a moment. I've just been informed by my producer that President Obama is going to make a statement about the asteroid from the Oval Office. He rarely makes announcements from the Oval Office, choosing to use the East Room for that, so this must be important. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
My fellow Americans, guess what? We are about a minute or so away from being killed by a huge asteroid that will strike the Pacific Ocean, turning it into steam in a matter of seconds, and the shock of impact will set off earthquakes, tidal waves, and all kinds of nasty stuff like that. But you won't have to worry about it. We'll all be dead from the shock caused by the impact. Now, you have every right to ask yourself, why didn't the government warn us about this? Didn't they know? Fuck yeah, we knew. We've known about this bad boy for the last 6 months. We've been charting it, plotting it, and came to the realization that there's nothing we can do about it. No time to build a rocket or anything to get humanity off the planet and into safety. Republicans cut the NASA budget, remember? They cut every fucking thing except tax breaks for the rich for the last 2 years, and you stupid redneck teabagging sons of bitches let it happen. And when everything turned to shit and unemployment went up to 15%, and we defaulted on our loans because the Republicans wouldn't budge, you stupid bastards blamed me for it. You blame me for every Republican fuck-up since 2009, and now I've seen to it that the kids, Sasha and Malia, have been put to sleep, as they say, so they won't have to go through this. I've made the same offer to Michelle, but she wouldn't take the pills, so she's standing here beside me, right here. These will be my last words, the last words I ever broadcast. The signals being sent out into the universe for perhaps someone to hear someday. Fuck you. And yes.
He fucked me again!
Why, the moon sure got bright all of a sudden.
That ain't the moon, you hillbilly son of a...
Yep. That's what happened. Good night.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, 2016, A Race Odyssey by yours truly. It's available in CD and in, I believe it's also available as an MP3 download. Check your online record store to see if you can find a copy somewhere. And that's going to do it for today's little episode of Blood on the Microphone, the only radio station in America. Hopefully we'll have something interesting to talk about tomorrow. One never knows. Do one.
Dance to that. Which one is created for? Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Blood on the Microphone is a presentation of Deep Brain Media. Copyright by Bill Smallfelt, all rights reserved. Till next time, this is Cedric the announcer. Stay safe. And wingnuts. He's coming. He's coming for you. Are you ready?